All right, welcome everyone to the first workshop for Winter Streak 2024. So excited to see everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. My name is Brandy Hellman. I am the Community Health Engagement Representative at Los Van Health. We're going to get started in just a second, talk about energizing our environment today. But just a few quick notes. If you could please go ahead and enter your first and last names into the chat so that we can track attendance. This will also make sure that we can get you your entry in for the prizes. This is being recorded and the recording will be available on the website before the end of the week. You will also get it in an email from me before the end of the week. That email will also have the survey link to this workshop, as well as the presentation slides from today. If you happen to have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat and we will address them towards the end of the workshop. And I think that's it. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Sandy Gladfelter, and I will let her take it away.
All right, so welcome everybody. I'm excited that everybody's here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now that I made sure I had the right one. And we'll get started. So like as Brandy said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I may or may not be able to see that throughout. So Brandy, are you staying on?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if by chance something comes up in the chat and you need me to address it, just interrupt me because of screen sharing. I don't always see that. So just FYI on that specifically. Okay. All right. So really excited that everybody's here. So if you've never been part of Winter Streak before, first of all, welcome for your first time. If you've been here before, we're excited to have you back. And hopefully in the next 30 minutes, we'll get you guys energized and getting moving a little bit. So I tend to often do the first presentations. I'm not sure why I keep getting to be the scapegoat for that one, but somehow I sort of always seem to be that. So if you've had me before and you liked me, great. But if not, I apologize because I'm just going to let you know that right now. So, all right. So today we're going to be talking about energizing our environment. So let's go ahead. So the first thing is, just think in your mind, what was it about this workshop that said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sign up today? Was it the title? Was it the description? Was it because it's the very first one and you know that's the one that you should join? Was it because of me? I know that's really the case, but no, I'm just kidding. But hopefully, like I said, it was you guys have some idea as to why you did that. But whatever the reason, I'm really glad you're here. Like I said, for about the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to hopefully energize and spurn you to be able to work on energizing your environment, yourself, and maybe even other people around you. Okay. So the biggest thing here is that great results come from positive energy. So very important. We know that in order for us to get the results that we want, we have to put the positive energy out. And that's a really big thing. And we've all been around people who, you know, just kind of draw us to them, and hopefully we'll find some of that. The other thing is that when the new year comes around, a lot of times people set these New Year's resolutions and goals. They have ideas, they have aspirations about where they want to go. And then January 3rd hits. And by that point, you know, some of them are already downhill after that point. So research will show us that about 25% of people quit their resolutions by the end of the first week. So you might have been one of those 25% of the people last week already. And about 43% will quit by the end of January. Basically, only about 9% of Americans who set resolutions complete them. So for this workshop, you know, I will have people looking around and say, okay, are you one of the 9%? So if we look around all the number of people that are on this, you know, are you one of the 9% that are going to be doing that? And my answer is yes, I believe that you will be, because we don't want to just talk about it. We want to just be about it. Okay, so really, really important as we state to look for this. One thing that if you've never had a presentation with me in the past, you'll know that I do like humor and I use a lot of like memes in here. So really here, let's just start. Tell me again how you're actually going to do your New Year's resolutions these years. You know, that's one of those things, like we all set them. We all think we're going to stick with them forever. And then bam, before we know it, we've already adjusted them a little bit. So I did set a resolution. So my resolution was to try to stop swearing. And then I came to work on January 3rd and I blew that one right out of the water. So again, just a little bit of fun when we start thinking about some of that. But this is a new year, but it's the same me because I'm perfect. So there's really no reason why we need to make some big wholesale changes sometimes. It's just, you know, we are where we're at. But I believe that everybody in this workshop, this is the one, this is your year specifically. Okay. So we're going to talk about creating positive energy. We're going to have positive minds, positive vibes, positive lives. Okay, all the things let's do. So we're just going to look at a couple of things specifically. So first thing is, this morning I got a surprise, and that surprise was money. Now, I would like to say that yes, indeed, it was that boatload of money, but I'm also looking at that picture and realizing that literally all of those are one. So I'll still take that money. But it wasn't that. Is I put on some, when I got dressed this morning, I reached into my pocket and I found that I had some cash in there that apparently happened and went through the laundry. And yes, now I'm laundering money, but don't spread that around. So I pulled it out and like, so this was a surprise. First thing this morning, I was all excited about that. It was $11. Now, right away, people are going, oh, great, it's $11. Why couldn't it have been a 50 or something like that? So, the question comes up to, what can you do with $11? So it got me thinking this morning, and that for about $11, I could buy 3.5 gallons of gas. And that is at Sam's at the current rate of $3.07, which is what it is here. Now, people are going, all right, 3.5 gallons, that doesn't get me very far. Well, if you can get 25 miles to the gallon in your vehicle, more maybe, you can go about 87.5 miles. So then you start doing the math going, from where I live, what is about 40 to 45 miles away? That would be something that would be enjoyable for me. So for that $11, I could do something fun like that, okay? The other thing is that I can get 2 to 3 venti-sized drinks at Starbucks. That may or may not be your thing, but we all know that Starbucks is kind of a big thing and they are expensive. So get some of the really big ones if you want to do something like that. You could also do a month gym membership, maybe like at Crunch Fitness or Planet Fitness. They're about $10 a month, so we can start working on some of our physical goals that we might have. You can do a month membership at Weight Watchers. Okay, right now they're running deals for $10 a month and so forth. So you can start working on some of your nutrition goals for that $11. Okay, you could go and to a bookstore and maybe buy a book and read it, okay, which would then be working on some of our mental well-being goals and our physiological, psychological goals, which is important, and finding that time for yourself. Okay, the other thing is here in York, you can maybe go ice skating. The York Ice Arena, they have like an afternoon public skate and it's $10. So you can go and skate for $10. You just have to make sure you don't fall and break your wrist or something, and then you're spending more money on something of that nature, okay? You can go play pickleball court rentals. A lot of times they're like $30 for 3 hours. And if you get 4 people, that's $7.50 a person for 3 hours of fun and activity, which is like one of the newest phases. Shouldn't say new, but it's a big phase right now, pickleball. Or maybe you can do a canoe rental. Okay. So again, it's like $16 an hour. You go out with a friend. So it comes down to $8 an hour. And then after that, so you can get out, you can have some fun, enjoying nature. And it's all about the thought process. Like, what can I do with what I've got? And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So that was my big surprise as I started out my day. So when we talk about creating positive energy, one of the things we want to do is we have to really try to shift our mindset. And you can see from this picture here, there's 2 roads, okay? One maybe is often traveled, one less traveled. You've all heard those stories. But the bottom line is we need to create sort of our state of mind. So we're going to take responsibility for yourself and committing to whatever changes that you want to make, whatever your perspective is. You want to identify what are your beliefs that are going to limit you, what's going to hold you back a little bit, and then negative patterns that maybe you've had in your life that keep you from being able to live with joy. And it's about figuring out which road that we want to take. So you have to decide what progress looks like before you begin your journey. Like, where is it that you want to go? And again, a lot of times this comes down to goals that we want to set. I want to lose weight, or I want to get in better shape, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And then it becomes like, are they realistic? That's the first thing. Like, are they realistic? Are they measurable? Can we actually get to them? And then what's a timeline on them? Okay, so that's really important. So it's understanding where the journey is, where you want to go, and then establishing the direction on how you're going to get there. Okay, so I often use the analogy of, well, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, you can't lose 50 until you lose 10. You can't lose 10 until you lose 5. Can't lose 5 until you lose 1. So it's not, I'm just going to wake up and lose 50. I'm going to lose 1 pound. And you can't lose 1 pound until you do something different than what you're currently doing. So it becomes, what is it that I want to do? What does my journey look like? Where are my goals taking me? And then what do I need to do to sort of get myself there? And so it's shifting the mindset so we make sure that we're where we want to be. Eliminating negative thoughts. And man, do we have these. Everybody has always listened to the negative thoughts in your brain, and it's real easy to let them pull you down. So it's important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people, people that pick you up, people that support the journey that you're on, people that find the good in you regardless of where it's at. And that can just help you kind of keep that around yourself. So we've got to really work on getting rid of those. What we know is that when we eliminate negative thoughts, it's like a big shot of adrenaline into our system. And if you're receptive to it, it can really get you where you want to move, okay, and where you're trying to get to. So don't wallow in negativity, okay, gossip or complain. Focus on being kind, open-minded, and fun. Okay, that's one of the things about me is like, I try to find the fun and the humor in every situation. Sometimes not. It's not like we don't all have these moments where, you know, negativity creeps in and you second guess everything. But the bottom line is you want to leave the complaining behind, focus on moving forward with your positive intent, find the people who are like you, who are like-minded, who can help you get where you want to go. And those are the people that we want to be around, okay? So it's also changing your blueprint, understanding that whatever you've been doing obviously may not be where you want to be. So changing your blueprint. Are you going after things that you want or what society wants? Okay, like, are you okay with yourself, but you're listening to that little nagging person on your shoulder saying, well, you need to be better at this, or you need to be thinner, or you need to be more active. Are you doing it for you? Okay, that's the biggest thing. And then disconnect and reconnect, like take a break for a few minutes, few hours, or a couple of days if you can. The other day I had some personal stuff happen and I was angrier than crap. Well, probably shouldn't say that. I was angrier than a hornet's nest. That's probably better. And I just like, I could feel it. And I was like, I can sit here and stew at my computer, or I can try to do something about it. So I decided to just go out and take a walk. And so I walked around the neighborhood for about 20, 25 minutes, got some music in my ears, and just tried to like let it go, because I just had some serious anger that was going on. And till I was done, I felt, not only did I feel better because I had gotten activity, but I was able to release that anger that was holding me back. So again, just kind of disconnecting even for just a couple of minutes. We know that nature has such great value, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit in more in depth here in just a second. But, you know, go for a hike, reconnecting with nature. There's so many beneficial things out there. So, you know, when you do that, put your phone on silent, or if you don't want to, don't even take it along, and just allow yourself to kind of reconnect, change what your blueprint is and where do you want to go, and make sure that it's for you specifically, okay? This is probably one of the biggest ones, building your confidence. So we know that our confidence levels are usually pretty low. Sometimes they're real high, but most times we don't feel always so good about ourselves, and we let people kind of take us down. It affects every different aspect of our life, and it's really important that we worry about it. So don't worry about what others are thinking, or believe that your perspective doesn't matter, because it does. It's really important. You need to make sure that you're doing things like making a list of your accomplishments, things that you're really, really good at, acknowledging those personal strengths. Take up a hobby, something that you find enjoyable, that brings you pleasure. Those are things that you can do. Practice positive self-talk. Okay, looking in a mirror and saying, you know what? I like what I see. I'm good with what I see. And don't worry about what anybody else is thinking. Be your best cheerleader so that you can be the best version of yourself. It's about building yourself up. So building yourself up so we make sure that we're getting where we want to be, okay? And then with that comes taking care of yourself. So we know we need fresh air. We want to be mindful of the things that we put into our body. So trying to eliminate some of the environmental stressors. We know that exercising, eating healthy, managing our stress, getting enough sleep, those are all things that are really important. Making sure that we're keeping up with some of our testing that needs to be done, like are you past due on a mammogram or a colonoscopy, or getting routine blood work done. So making sure that you're taking those moments to sort of check in on your health. There's things that we can't see internally that are important that we're talking with our physicians about. So that's important. But when you're exhausted, you think about how to create positive energy. It's so draining, you can't do it. So sleep is so vitally important to be able to make sure that you are well rested so that you can exude cheerfulness, vitality, and then just be, you know, the good person that you want to be so that you can focus on everything for your health and your body. So green exercise, I mentioned that a little bit ago and said that we're going to take a little bit of extra time with that. So what we know is that outdoor activity causes greater feelings of revitalization and positive engagement. And within the first 5 minutes of green exercise appears to have the biggest impact on our mood and our self-esteem. It can help us reduce, like I said, tension, anger, depression. It also helps to release a lot of endorphins that are related regarding stress. And it's also just good for our body. So these are the things that we want to make sure that we're doing, okay? Stressors like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol, which is like stress marker hormones, they all fall after being within nature. And if you could walk on that path right now and it be a gorgeous green day like that, like how does that not pump you up instantaneously? Okay, when you start thinking about all of that. So outdoor natural environments, they provide some of the best all-around health benefits that we have. And they do that with lower levels of perceived exertion. So what happens is you get a useful natural medicine. It's just one of the things where like, I can just be out in nature, I can take a walk and I can feel so much better about myself. You don't usually think about all of that, but those are the things that we want to do. We know that sometimes when people have spent 3 days, when they've spent 3 days like in a forest, maybe camping, those benefits can last for them up to 30 days. That's how much green exercise does for us. So important. Now, when you are out there walking, make sure that, get lost in nature and you'll probably die most likely, which, I didn't really mean that, but that's just a little bit of fun. I just thought I'd throw a little humor in there, because laughter is one of the best medicines. And we know that because we know that laughter can stimulate many of our organs. Okay. And this little guy here, he's just got all his organs are going. And we know that a good knee slapping laugh can really get us where we want to be. It can also activate and relieve your stress response. And we've all been here. Stop, stop, stop. I'm going to pee. I'm going to pee my pants. You're making me laugh so hard. And that's a good thing. Like I said, we have a lot of fun with that because we know that laughter is the best medicine. Unless you're diabetic, then insulin comes pretty high on that list. So just so that you're aware, insulin's pretty important if you're diabetic. So again, soothing tension, just kind of having fun with some of this stuff. Okay. So hopefully you guys are laughing a little bit with that. The other thing is we want to practice gratitude. Okay. So gratitude is known to increase our feelings of well-being, feelings that are vital for us. Okay. And a grateful heart, like you can see there, is a magnet for miracles. So what we want to make sure we're doing is adopting an abundance mindset that may be the single most vital thing to helping us get on that path that we want to be, to where we want to get some of those changes and to creating that positive energy. So first of all, start by being grateful for what you have today, and you'll notice improvements in your life. So I had the money in my pocket thing this morning, and then I had some work done at the house. I had a washer dryer, which was located on the first floor. I had it relocated back down into the basement. And so while it was being done, of course, it was a little bit of an issue because the workers were here and I was trying to work. And then when they took the washer and dryer, I looked over at the wall and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, the wall behind the washer dryer, like it needs repainted and there's marks on the wall. And of course, there's the plumbing is still going to be there. And so I was thinking, did I really make the right decision? Like, but the best part is that now it's in the basement. So when I want to go do laundry, I have to go up and down the steps, which is going to create exercise for me. But then I took a second look at the wall and I thought about this practicing gratitude. And what I thought was, it gives me a new opportunity to repaint the room to my liking, to where something new, something fresh. And so it just was I could look at that in a completely negative light, or I could say, you know what, that's actually a really good thing. I'm going to be able to reorganize and have some of that. So like for another example is, have you ever been to a really nice restaurant and your food was delicious, the ambiance was great, your server was phenomenal, like everything about it was perfect, you had a great time, and then you get the bill and you're like, you almost fall off of your chair. For whatever reason, maybe you weren't expecting that. Well, did that change the meal? Did it change your thought process on that whole environment? And if it did, that's sad, because then you're forgetting how much everything was good until you got to the financial piece of it. And the bottom line is, yeah, maybe it's not what you wanted to spend, but it's about being able to recognize it was still a really good thing. Okay. So if you have an abundance mindset, you can also like focus on those things. Also, we want to make sure that we're celebrating other successes, instead of, so be happy when someone loses weight, as opposed to saying, well, why can't I lose weight? Just be happy for the person that they've lost weight. Okay. Or, boy, they seem to be very positive. Why can't I have a positive outlook on life? Don't judge other people. Again, just be happy that somebody else is celebrating and having some success. Okay. Making sure that you give back, not because you have to, but because you want to. So if you volunteer somewhere, it's because you want to do that, because that will help you practice gratitude. I think about that many times when you were a kid and you would go outside and play. Nobody had to tell you to go do that. You just went and did it. But now, as we've aged, people tell you you need to exercise. And so then it becomes a drudgeon thing. So don't do that. Do the, I'm grateful that I can get up every morning and still exercise, or that I can go out for a walk, or that I have the ability to go up and down steps. Be grateful for those things right there specifically, okay? And then live in the present. We often do the, well, back when I was 19, okay, which for most of us is like 2 or 3 years ago. I get it. And stop doing that. You're not who you were at 19. You're so much better than that. You're a better version of who you were back then. Stop trying to be that person. Be happy and grateful for where you're at, what you have, and how you can kind of keep moving forward. So don't be afraid to embrace change. Change can be chaos and it can be nerve-wracking, but it's important. So examining, limiting your beliefs and your negativity, adopting more empowering, overwhelming things, make lists of things you're grateful for, okay? My mom is 87 and is going through some serious health challenges. And so one of the things that we try to do with her daily is to remind her of the things that she should be grateful for. And so we actually put I made a sign and laminated it and hang it in her room at assisted living that says, at the end of every night, look back and be thankful for 3 things. And think about, what is it? Well, I'm grateful I got up this morning, or I'm grateful I was able to play bingo, or I was able to go to choir practice, whatever it is. It's just things that you need to make sure that you're focusing on. And everybody needs that. You need a reminder sometimes as to where you're at. So do these types of things to try to help move that gratitude along a little bit, okay? Then energizing our space. Maybe you work from home, maybe you have an area that you do crafts in, or that you work out, or for paying bills. Whatever it is, we want to make sure that you're positioning the furniture so you can promote movement. And if you're working from home, yeah, it's nice just to be able to reach here, reach there and everything. And whenever I am like, oh, yeah, I got to get up and go across the room to get that, there's that moment of like, oh, seriously? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it got me out of the chair. It got me moving. So you want to try to position your furniture and things to be able to create that movement, because movement is energy, okay? Find the balance between working out and recovery helps maintain consistent energy levels. So when you are exercising, okay, and again, whatever that room looks like, make sure that you have positive movement throughout the room, that you're finding the time to balance the working out. It shouldn't be 24/7. It's something that you should be able to do and enjoy. And then also knowing that you need time to allow your body to recover from that workout, because recovery is also energy. So real important, okay? And then placing items you reach for far away from your favorite chair, so you have to get up and move more. When we talk about trying to be better with our eating and our portions, one of the things I always tell people is leave all of the pots and pans on the stove. Take your plate to the stove, put on what you think you're going to eat from a portion size, and then go back to the table. Because then if you want more, you actually have to physically get up and go get it, as opposed to just plopping it on from a container right on in the middle of your table. So it's things like that, okay? So if you are a snacker and you're snacking and you're eating in a chair at night, get a single serving, take your pretzels or popcorn or whatever it might be, chips, okay, count out how many it is, or put it in a container, take it to where you're going to go. Because if you want more, you got to physically go get it, as opposed to just keep reaching your hand in the bag. It's simple things like that. So things that you use a lot, keep them a little further away, so you have to get up and go get them. Again, movement is energy, but also allowing your body some recovery time, okay? So earlier in the class, I said that 9% of us in the American population, if we set goals, will reach them, okay? And then we also know that there's not a magic pill for motivation. It just isn't, okay? It's one of those things that if I had a magic pill for motivation, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. I'd be on my own island somewhere, because I would have prevented this thing. But I kind of lied to you. There is a magic pill, and that magic pill is you, okay? It's very important that you have the capacity, and not only you, but you over there. You have that capacity. You're the magic pill. You love yourself. You need to love yourself. You're the magic pill. You're the magic pill, and you are the magic pill. And I believe that everybody in this class has that internal ability to motivate yourself if you so choose, okay? There's ways to be able to do that, okay? So we talked about some of this. So my action slide, okay? So when we put all that stuff, we think about all of that, is we want to dedicate yourself to creating positive environments. Okay, surround yourself with people that are positive, that are engaging, that are exciting, that draw, that support you. Those are things that are really important. We know that great results come from positive energy. So if you want to succeed and you want to get to the next level of your fitness or your nutrition or your mental well-being, you've got to put some positive energy into it in order to achieve those results. Those are the things that are really important. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to name 3 things that you're doing today to ignite, fuel, or manage your energy. And if you don't have them right now, that's okay. But that's going to be your action slide coming out of this class, is what are 3 things that I can definitively write down somewhere. You can put them in the chat if you want, that are saying, you know what, these are things that I can do to make sure that I get that motivation. If you need to, print them out, stick them on your refrigerator, okay? Anything along those lines. Like, you want to make sure that you're sharing them with people. So again, throw them in the chat, you know, send them to Brandy, because that's great. We can flood her inbox with all these emails about the 3 things that you're going to do. But it's important to sort of take away from that a little bit. We do have a couple of really good workshops that are coming up. I just want to mention them. So in 2 weeks, there'll be the Get Fit While You Sit. And then in 4 weeks, we have a really good sweet potato quesadilla cooking demo that we'll be doing. So I'm excited about all of those specifically as we continue to come up with that, okay? So this workshop today was all about creating energy with yourself and with others. How do I make sure that I'm on the path that I want to be on and so forth? So having a magnetic personality allows others to be drawn to you for your energy. And, you know, we all know people like that you just feel better when you're around them, that for whatever reason, they sort of figure out how to pump you up. And even those people, they have their moments. Okay. It's one of those things, but you want to be helpful to others, avoid complaining yourself or comparing yourself to others. You want to appear more friendly, even if maybe you're not, just appear that you are. Embrace your quirks, develop your wit. Okay. Make others feel comfortable around you, and then laugh, laugh, laugh. If I leave you with one thing, it is you define your life. Don't let anybody else write your script, okay? It's what you want in your life that will allow you to define where you're going to go, what path you're going to take, how we're going to energize our environment and kind of move on and that sort of thing. So really important. The whole point of this conversation today was to make sure that we're finding our path in order to be able to energize ourselves to get us moving where we want to go. Okay. I see somebody said stop self-sabotaging myself. And that's a big one. We do that. I love that you're putting them in here. I'll make sure that I go back and read through them. Those are good things. And the bottom line is, as you read through them, you might say, you know what, that's a good one. I like that. And again, it just becomes finding you and being okay with the you that you are right now. Okay. That's the biggest thing that I have for you. So does anybody have any questions? No questions?
As we wait to see if anybody has any, these are all great comments, great action steps, and
They are great.
that was a very amazing, inspiring presentation. I'm going to go ahead before I forget and include a link here in the chat as well. This is to our Winter Streak Wellness Guide. And a lot of what Sandy talked about today can be found in that guide to help you get started. Please feel free to use it as much as you like, whatever you would prefer. Help you track your goals throughout the whole program. Very helpful tool. Best way, yes, use it. I get bogged down motivating myself. Best way to get out of my slump.
So that's a good question. You know, again, I wish I had the perfect answer for you. It comes down to, like, some of the things that I talked about is, where is it you want to go? Okay, as far as like, what do you want in life and how can you get that? We all have things that happen in our lives that are challenging, that like throw us for a loop, and it's easy to get stuck in that. So sometimes it's reading. It may be reading a self-motivation book or a self-help book. It may be watching a movie that's inspirational. It may be music. Okay, you're going to all think I'm really weird, but there's a song. It's by Seals and Crofts, and, you know, like, I'm going to date myself. And I think it's called Hummingbird. But if you listen to the words of it, at one point, it's like, I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but like, today's a new day, and like, everything is for you. Just go Google Hummingbird by Seals and Crofts and listen to the words. And for me, that's one of those things where whenever I hear that, it sort of pumps me up. There's another song by Erasure that says it's about little respect. That's one of my other favorites, but so I'm all over the board. Seals and Crofts and Erasure, they are so not in the same genre of music, but so yeah, really important is just find a person that you can talk to that maybe helps kind of motivate you. But a lot of it has to come from within. And if my email was in the presentation. If you need to email me specifically, like, if you want, I can try to work with you a little bit more specifically one-on-one with that. Feel free to email me on that as well. So,
Miss Sandy,
yes.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
My mom and my doctor told me that I am obese, so I might get diabetes. How bad can I get?
How bad can diabetes get if you're obese?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so obviously obesity adds to a lot of these types of diseases that we have, these chronic conditions. So if someone is diabetic and they are carrying extra weight, it is harder for their bodies to maintain that A1C level, which is what you're really probably trying to measure consistently. Obesity and carrying extra fat, but it's not necessarily just the obesity, it's what are you eating? How are you measuring your A1C? And then what are you doing from a physical activity standpoint? So I would focus more on keeping your A1Cs in the range where they want you to be, which is usually like 5.7 to 6.5. Again, whether that's with medication or insulin, if you're doing something along those lines. What are your eating habits? Hopefully you're getting some guidance on how to eat, how to reduce sugars and carbohydrates, things of that nature, and then increasing your activity. And again, these are things you would check with your physician for before starting, like what should I be able to do? But even just walking is a really good thing, but that will fluctuate your A1C as well. It could, I should say it could. So these are all things that you want to talk over with your physician specifically. And then it just becomes, let's get onto a good, healthy pattern of eating, keeping my stress level down, maintaining some physical activity. And the thing is, you don't have to do it all at one time. Okay, right now, the biggest thing would be is getting your A1C into an acceptable level, probably for some medication, depending upon how bad it is, okay? Then from there, it's, you know what, let's change some dietary habits. Then after that becomes comfortable, then maybe it's increasing some physical activity. And then your body will start to adjust all that naturally. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. And I appreciate everything you said today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day, Sandy, and have a good day, Brandy. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you. As we make sure we don't have any other questions as we wrap up here. I am also putting a link here, like Sandy mentioned, the next workshop's going to take place in 2 weeks on the 24th. Get Fit While You Sit will be a live chair aerobic session, so it should be fun. You can register at winterstreet.org. This PowerPoint will be sent out in an email, like I mentioned, before the end of the week, so everybody can review everything if you'd like to go back. And then again, in that, there will be a survey link for this workshop. Please make sure to provide your feedback. We really appreciate it. And then you also get an entry into prizes. So please don't forget to do that. It's a very brief survey. And then I mentioned as well, please just make sure your first and last name are in the chat for attendance. And nobody else has any other questions? The guide in paper format. I will provide it in a PDF so it can be printed if that's okay. So you should be able to print off all the slides if that works. And Sandy, did you put your email in the chat, Sandy? Someone was asking, or
I didn't have it in the chat. It was on the thing. I'll put it in here.
okay, thank you. Sandy's gonna enter that in here. I think I'm making sure I'm not missing anyone. All right. So Sandy's gonna put her email in here. There it is. All right. The PDF for the guide. I will send that, yes. Send me the link to that, and I will include that link to the PDF of the guide as well, and throw that link in here. There you go. That's the link to the PDF of the wellness guide. That's easier to print. Great. I think we're good. Thank you all so much again for attending today. Really appreciate seeing everyone. And we hope to see you at the next workshop. Have a great day.
Okay, too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.